The second accountability and program performance review meeting was organized for us to be able to track our performance progress in terms of where we are in our program implementation, and also to review our budgetary status in terms of our budget utilization. Basically, we look at the whole corpus of our programs that we are implementing, where we are in terms of our performance, and what we need to do in terms of course correcting, and also the lessons we've learned in the course of the year in terms of ensuring that our work is not only relevant, but extremely impactful. It's been a 3-day meeting from 25th to 27th of July, and all directors have been present, the program officers have been present, the chiefs of sections have been present, and some have joined online. And it's been very engaging meeting in which we've been able to reflect on our work and see what we need to improve upon, and also gauge our performance. And where we are today, which is mid-year, our performance level is quite encouraging. We're at around 63% in terms of implementation of our programs at a corporate level. And also our fund utilization rate is also quite good, which is at 62%. So we are not doing badly. We are on course in terms of making sure that we achieve our results for the year. For the next 6 months is for us to keep on monitoring in terms of our progress, and also looking at our regional landscape because things are changing in our region. Our partners are also making reforms. The African Union is undergoing serious reforms in terms of strengthening the institutional capacity. We also need to reflect on the contemporary challenges that the continent is faced with. So we have to have an institution that is adjustable to all those changes and dynamics of our environment and be able to respond to them. And that's what we'll be doing. We have what is called the three tracks. The 3 tracks derive essentially from our medium-term program framework and also our program plan and budget for 2023-2024. And what's the essence of the 3 tracks? It's basically for us to focus properly in a very intensive way in critical areas of our expertise and capacity in which we can make a difference. The first track is about macroeconomic policy and sustainable financing. For any country to develop or for the region to move, we must have macroeconomic stability and we must have sustainable financing. So ECA is working on that to ensure that we support our member states. And this is interfaced with the issue of governance. We must have a stable governance environment, both in terms of economic and political stability, for us to be able to drive development. That's the first track. The second track is about promoting economic diversification and industrialization, particularly through the African Continental Free Trade Area. Some will argue that the CFTA is the Marshall Plan for Africa, is a transformative element, but it's not self-actualizing. It's not going to implement itself. We have to make it happen. And as a think tank, our role is to see how can the CFTA and other initiatives on the continent promote economic diversification and industrialization. Africa needs to industrialize. It's extremely important for us. We are latecomers in development, and being the fulcrum of industrialization will be very key for us to transform, create jobs, reduce poverty, reduce inequality, and make sure that our continent is able to achieve prosperity. In terms of the SDG, Africa is off track, and that's why the leadership of the UN, both at the level of the Secretary General and the Deputy Secretary General, are talking about rescuing the SDG. For us, one way we can rescue the SDG is to make sure that our economics grow. It is to make sure that we promote economic diversification. It's to make sure that we create more jobs. And promoting economic diversification and industrialization is a major means of doing that. The third track is about climate resilience and also the blue economy. As you all know, the issue of climate is very key. It has economic, political, and social consequences. The desertification in West Africa, for example, and the Sahel region is a major source of conflict. Why is it a major source of conflict? There is no water to be able to support farming. There's no grazing land, for the cattle and sheep to really be able to feed. So we have a situation in which people are being dispossessed. And being dispossessed, they are very vulnerable to being recruited. And without means of livelihood, conflict will become the next thing. The gun becomes a means of livelihood. And that's what we are seeing. So that's how you link climate change to economic progress, to livelihoods of people, and to political stability. So promoting climate resilience, and a resource that we have not used so much is our ocean, our seas. We've not been able to use them. Others are fishing on our seas. And our oceans and seas, the blue economy, is a major resource that we can tap into to really develop our economies, create jobs for our people, and improve livelihoods. So that is the third plank of it, which is on climate resilience and the blue economy. So ECE as an institution is focusing its energy and attention on these three tracks in all the work that we're doing. And we're trying to see how we can help the continent to push this forward. Of course, working with our key partners, the African Union and its agencies, the African Development Bank, the African Exim Bank, and all the other regional players, and also, of course, the United Nations system. And a major issue of this meeting is that how do we create coherence in our work? How do we create synergy that all parts of the house are working together in a coherent, cohesive way, and we become what we can call Team ECA, in which all of us are working together to deliver, in terms of the key priorities of the organization and also the needs of the continent. That's basically what this meeting was all about. And it was a very interactive, engaging, frank, open and transparent conversation that we have in the last 3 days. And we've come out of this meeting, I think, much more well prepared to be able to ensure that we have 100% implementation in our key activities that we have outlined for ourselves in 2023.